There's not much to say in moments like this. You just pour another coffee and think about what you did today. I'm looking at the wrong camera again. So here are my 3 lessons from trading the pre-market today, and basically from all of what I've watched in the last few weeks. So last week, I don't know what that was, we were looking at 8 o'clock was when all these dips constantly happened. So at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there would be a lot of sell-off. And then between 8 and 8:15, there would be big bounces, anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20% bounces on these gappers. And these gappers are ones running around over 50%, and then they're pulling back between 20 and 30%. But overall, they're holding their highs really well. Now, if one is pulling back much, much harder and it didn't even gap up maybe that much, you want to be a little bit careful. It might still be a really, really good dip buy. However, that dip buy might just not be as strong in terms of the bounce might be a little weaker. And also keep in mind just the general dollar volume, how many shares are being traded. Is this something that you can even trade or you want to trade with your ideal position size? And then I think, which is really relevant to me today, is just if it's Monday morning, you didn't trade all weekend, maybe be extra careful because you might not be in your flow state yet. And I think the trade that I made today, I probably would have not done on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, just because I would have been a little bit more cautious. And then today I felt like, okay, I didn't trade for 3 days. Let me pull the trigger on this one. Everything is looking good. And then, boom, had a big loser. So let's go to the chart now and let me reinforce all those points to you by showing you exactly play by play what happened. All right, so back to the charts. Down here on our watch list on the gap scanner, we had NK and ONVO. Those were at first the only 2 things that popped up in my scanner. I ran it again around 8, and then I had a bunch more stuff like you see here pop up. So once we ran the scanner the second time, there wasn't really much that I was really interested in. We had CEI and PTI past runners, but no real news. And then the only thing I was kind of interested in was GV, just because the general chart and the big contract. And I mean, it was looking pretty good. And I remember this in the morning, we had a nice little pull down with this one back here to the 2.9 area. I should have probably just bought this one. But the dollar volume on this was just tiny. So, I mean, if I had a bigger account, I wouldn't even look at it. But since we had a fairly small account, I mean, this could have been a pretty nice trade right here in this area, somewhere around 2.9, 2.91. I don't even think we really, who knows, maybe we would have not even gotten filled. So just a slow mover, but I did like the chart on the daily. Big resistance here that we finally broke through. Cracked on it with a government contract award. I mean, just generally like exactly what you want to be trading. 80 million market cap, 24 million shares outstanding, looking pretty good. Didn't trade it. So let's talk about what we did trade. NK, this was the one that kind of broke my heart a little bit, and I'll tell you why. So all last week, like I said in the beginning of this video, I was watching pre-market. I was like, I'm not comfortable trading pre-market yet. I haven't traded pre-market in a while, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to pull any triggers this week. That's what I said last week. And I basically just called out, okay, this is how I would trade this, right? And basically there was a pattern that around 8:15, somewhere between that, there would be a nice pullback on anything gapping up around 50%, have a pullback around 20 to 30%. Is that pullback, and then you would look to buy near former support, near long-term daily support or 5-minute support intraday, but ideally near some bigger daily support. And that's exactly what we did. So here you can see the support level here around 2.82, and I noticed that we were constantly selling off towards that. And that's when I entered the trade. So let me just zoom in a little bit more here. Sorry, flailing all over the place. By the way, guys, this is a 250 million market cap stock, at least at the price right now, and 98 million shares outstanding. So it's a kind of a bigger one. So I felt a little bit more comfortable that this thing wouldn't just, totally crash or something like that. It's not, 2 million float or something like that. So yeah, we have this nice breakout to the upside, and this was a pretty solid run. I mean, 28%, not really that crazy, but ultimately a nice little run. Then here it comes. I was looking for a potential buy maybe at the $3. I was thinking, okay, $3 is technically a breakout zone, but it's not breaking out that much. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful, which was good. This bounce was pretty weak. And then came this bounce, and I was like, here we go. This is looking really good. I got a fairly nice entry at 2.94. I was, fairly happy about that entry. But then the bounce was weak, and we were up around 2% at one point. And I was like, okay, this is looking good. And then we pulled back, tried to do another bounce here in this area, and it didn't work. I should have got out. I should have closed the position when that trade was not looking very strong. Fortunately, I didn't though, and boom, here came the big crash. And this thing was not very fun. We were down a little over 10% at one point. This is way further than I would ever want to be down, and I was trying to get out of this position. Eventually we got out in this bounce, so it was fine. I could have even held and got out at a much safer place. Probably closed this trade with a smaller loss than $100, probably like around $70 or $80 loss. This is kind of annoying. And let me tell you, the super annoying thing about this trade is we would have been right if I waited for that 8 to 8.15 period, and we had an entry around 2.55 maybe or something like that. Not nearly all-time low, or just this general area. Let's even say 2.6, then we sold into this bounce here. That would have been a nice 6% profit. If we got perfect entry, perfect exit, which I never looked for, that would have been over a 10% profit. So with not even that great trading, we could have squeezed over 5% on this trade, and then we would have squeezed another. We just closed out a trade for 3% profit, so we would have had a pretty nice trading day today. I don't know why I just totally butchered this one. I should have been way more hesitant, especially when this thing was selling off. Let me talk about ONVO as well. Dollar volume wise, super sketchy. Just because check out this, under $1 million being traded today, but 72 million market cap, 130 million shares outstanding. Not too bad. Kind of exactly what we're looking for. The chart though, this was looking good. So just pretend, I guess, that this one has a bit more dollar volume, and this is exactly what we want to be trading. Plus, like maybe somewhere more in the $2-3 area. But chart wise, this is a perfect example. So we have a huge gap up, 50% plus, right? Then we have a pullback, 30%, exactly what I said earlier, 50 plus run up, 20 to 30% pullback. Find former support. What's down here? This is former support. This is long-term former support right here in the 0.54 area, 0.55 area. This is exactly what we're looking for. First one was a bounce of 7%. So this first bounce could have been good too. Take your 5-7% profit, move on. Especially when you notice it's a little weak. And then boom, here's the big one. Check out this 20% bounce on this trade or this potential entry. So find that former support. Sell into the bounce. I would have never held 20%. I probably would have held into this red area, this red line, former support, new resistance, took my 10%, moved on, maybe sold half, I don't know. Both the trades, both the pre-markets we were looking at would have worked out perfectly. For some reason, I got overexcited. I don't know, it was a Monday. I don't know, I wasn't in my groove flow yet. I should have really been patient here on this one, and we messed that one up. So shame on me for totally butchering that trade. So we had one more trade today, MIRM. This one was kind of interesting, and this one we had Andrew in the chat call it out today. This one I really like. We had a market cap a little bit high, 400 million, shares outstanding around 23 million, a little bit on the high end, but overall just really nice. I mean, this thing ran almost 100% when the market opened. It had a 60% gap up, a nice healthy pullback, so it wasn't overextended when the market opened, around 12% pullback. And then it just ripped. We had a first pullback here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. We had a first pullback here, rally, second pullback here, big rally. Tried to have a third pullback, but that failed. And then basically in the evening, I was kind of waiting, thinking, okay, we might have a really nice bounce eventually around $16. And I did enter 16.27, a little early again. I don't know, I've been entering early today. Pulled back a little harder. We had a little bit, I think we were down 3% at one point on this one. Not really too bad. Could have held longer, but this thing was already taking way longer than I usually want to hold for. So let's see. If we just kind of held this one a little bit longer, we'd be up maybe another 5% right now. So yeah, it could have been a nicer trade if I slowed down this one let's say got a little bit better of an entry under 15, under $16, so like 15.90, very realistic, and then sold in this shoulder area that we're at now. So let's say we just got out of it now. This could have been like an 8-9% trade. Really, really nice. We took our 3% on this one just because, it was looking shaky, and I probably would have even sold down here for even a worse profit. So I was kind of happy just to get out of this one. I'm happy that, we made some money back today. So we ended actually a few cents under $100 loss today. So I'll take it. Kind of a rough way to start our Monday off, but it happens. And ultimately, I'll take our loss today. I think we learned a lot, and I'm excited to get back to trading tomorrow. And I'll just try to be a little bit more patient next time. I understand, like 2 weeks ago, this was a big problem. I was way too patient. I was way too conservative in all my trades, and I missed so many good opportunities. So now I'm trying to get a little bit more aggressive, but I got to get aggressive on the opportunities that are perfect, and I need to be more conservative on the opportunities that are, so-so. And I think once I tighten that up a little bit and I really kind of find myself in that a little bit, I think we're going to be doing all right. So I'm excited for that. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe, and hit that bell icon too if you guys are totally new here. I'll see you guys again first thing tomorrow morning. Stay safe and make some awesome trades. Till next time, ciao, ciao.